May I challenge that, or
Yes,
add
please.
a question, if I may?
Please.
Yes, I agree with you, what you've said, and you've given a good, broad philosophic view, but being a practical person, God's present people on earth are here and now who espouse different views of him, and within the community in South London, hereabouts, there are hundreds of different worshipping communities, all worshipping the same God, yet we have confrontation and suspicion and misunderstanding. How do we resolve, reconcile those?
This is the last part which I have not yet attended. Yes. I finished only the first part of the question, which related to the philosophical understanding of unity and contradiction and everything about it. Now we turn to the practical question of today. Why do we find religions, instead of promoting peace, promoting disorder and practically helping, practically inviting people to hate each other in the name of God? This is the most, unacceptable thing. That can again lead us to only two conclusions. Either these religions as understood today have gone so, off the route, off the path, that nothing of guidance is left in them, and they should be rejected in totality. Or the other conclusion which I prefer to make is that the religious leadership has gone wrong, and they unnecessarily and unduly and unrightfully emphasize those parts of religions which differ with others, and do not draw our attention to the commonalities. While, despite the theoretical and doctrinal differences, as we have spoken of earlier, there always remains a common platform to every religion, which is the platform of morality, which is the platform of human relationship. And no religion on earth has different views on that. Christianity teaches the same truth, good neighborly relationship, kindness to human beings, to animals, to others, and decency in your relationship, as does Judaism and Christianity and Islam. So also other religions, if you go to the area of their moral teachings, you will practically find no divergence. Minor differences, of course, but they are only theoretical. In practice, there are no differences. Now, one can say, in Christianity you find the teaching that if somebody strikes you on the right cheek, offer the left one. I agree, but that was a time-related teaching, and it has been practically rejected by the Christians themselves as no longer valid. Practical teaching on the moral issues of differences is a Christian or Western teaching is exactly the same as Islamic. No change whatsoever. So we should draw the attention of the world religious leaders to emphasize the commonality of religious values rather than highlight the differences which relate to the area of doctrines, which relate to the area of understanding of God, which relate to the area of the concept of the hereafter. Even if we continue to differ, what harm there is? First of all, we can never resolve those issues by fighting among ourselves. Nobody has seen God, nobody would see God with his own eyes. So these differences would continue, to a degree. But the areas relating to the human relationship, they're very clear and distinct. And no religion gives you a different teaching, speaks of different teachings, different attitudes towards your fellow human beings. Tell me one religion which says you can usurp the right of others, you can tell lies, you can be cruel, you can abuse your own children and so on and so forth. None whatsoever. So this danger which you refer to is only an ethereal danger which has been turned into real by the distorted attitudes of religious leaders or group leaders of the ethnic groups. As far as Islam is concerned, it says, قُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ تَعَالَوْا إِلَىٰ كَلِمَةٍ سَوَاءٍ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَكُمْ. Say, O people of the book, let's join hands, join forces on those things which are common among ourselves, common among us. And why don't we join hands? So this is exactly which has been my message throughout my tours and will continue to be. Wherever I visit in the world, I always deliver this message to the people of that part, that for God's sake, don't divide man in the name of God. The only uniting, factor. God is the only uniting factor. And that is the only factor which is used nowadays, unfortunately, for dividing man instead of uniting him. So, understanding the religious values and emphasizing them, who can unite mankind under one God, despite their apparent differences on the concept of God. Right?
Thank you. You echo, in fact, comments made by Bishop Roy Williamson, who is the new bishop of, is now the Bishop of Southwark, but came from Bradford,
Right.
where he established very close links with the Muslim community there in Bradford. And I know, because I'm a member of his Board of Mission and Unity, his concern to establish good interfaith relationships and dialogue, and he, I'm sure, would endorse all that you've said.
I mean, there is no other way out. Every man in possession of his mental faculty should agree with this.
Indeed.
I mean, there is no alternative. This is the only way out of our problems. To emphasize, you see, Mr. Kenneth Clark, when he was the Minister of Education, he was kind enough once to accept my invitation for him to dine with me before he was the minister, not when he was the Minister of Education. And on the issue of religious education in the schools, I requested him kindly not to permit it that dogmatic differences or doctrinal differences to be taught in the schools. Leave them alone to the clergy and the mullahs, etc. Permit and insist on moral teachings of religions in all British educational institutions. And then you will see the healthy effect, not only in bringing about a sort of better understanding between different religions, but also to fight the crime which is unfortunately is on the increase in your society. And I had the impression that he liked the idea, although I don't know whether it was followed up or not. But this is, I think, the right approach. Yes, please. Anything else? Or?
Well, I think that the local school here, where there are many Muslim children, whilst it is a Church of England school and espouses Church of England values, it takes a very broad religious approach, I know, and I think your children are well educated there.
That's
and
right.
are given a firm moral
I agree, yes.
basis there.
That's
Yes.
right. And they have never been discriminated against.
Yeah.
They have always found a welcome atmosphere.
Yes.
They have always been welcomed to retain their cultural values and mix with the society of the other culture freely by exchanging their values. Not forcibly, but as a free interplay. And this is the best thing which can happen. And I am so happy with the attitudes of the schools all around. Thank you.
Well, I will pass that on because I know the headmistress there. My wife was a governor there until recently,
Your wife was?
a governor there.
Oh,
and she
mashallah.
presently teaches at
So
John Paul II School.
I owe my gratitude to her as well. And to you indirectly, of course.
Well, no, I just made a mouthpiece.
Thank you.